Very good. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
the recording is started.
excellent. Thank you. So what I'd like to do first is to assess how many of our 7 committee members are here. Again, my name is Roseanne Ashby. I'm the chairperson of the committee. And let me have you introduce yourself, Kent. I believe I heard you.
Yes, ma'am. Kent Keyser.
Okay, very good. Jim, I think I heard you come in.
Yep, Jim Mountain is on. Hello, everyone.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, do we have Cynthia Johnson Oliver?
Yes, this is Cynthia Johnson Oliver.
Okay, very good, Cynthia. Um, and let's see, do we have Judy Dixon? Don't hear Judy. How about Rebecca Bridges?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Present.
wonderful, wonderful. And Daniel Leslie? Okay, we don't have Daniel. So we don't have Judy and we don't have Daniel, but we do have a quorum because we have 5 committee members. So I think we can continue. Rocco, could I ask you please to introduce the county folks and then we can introduce others that are on the line?
Sure. I think I'll just go down the list of who's here. Hello, everyone. My name is Rocco Visconti. I am one of the transit planners for Arlington Transit. Um, and I can pass it over to Clinton.
Good evening, everyone. Clinton Edwards. I serve the Transit Bureau as the Transit Services Manager, and the first person that I see is Joshua Drucker. I'll pass it over to him.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joshua Drucker. I am the county transit technology manager. Looking for names, I see Joshua Reeby.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Josh Reeby. I serve as the transit intern at the moment. Paul, I'll call him Paul next.
Good evening. My name is Paul Mounier. I'm the service planner for the ART bus service, and I do not see any other Arlington staff on. So, Rocco.
Yes, that is all of the staff on the Arlington Transit side. We do have people from the call center as well as We Drive You and
Okay. Could we have them
others.
introduce themselves too?
Sure, we can start with Sheila Hill.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Sheila Hill. I'm the GM at the call center.
Thank you very much. We also have Ashley Fernandez.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Ashley Fernandez, the General Manager for We Drive You.
Okay, we have Luis F. Luis Flores.
Good afternoon. My name is Luis Flores, and I'm the operation manager at We Drive You at Highland, Virginia.
Okay, we have Leslie Stone.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leslie Stone. I'm the Director of Customer Success for We Drive You.
Okay, and then we have Carl Nicholson.
Hey everyone, I'm Carl. I am the project manager here on the software side from Spare.
Hey, well, welcome to all the county staff and the We Drive You staff and the call center and everyone. So welcome. So I assume we have a number of members of the public on as well,
Yes.
Rocco. Is that right?
Yes, there are a good number.
Good number? Okay.
I think there is 6, 7.
Okay. So you are also welcome to introduce yourself. However, you're also welcome to make public comment. Just please be aware that we try to limit public comment to 2 or 3 minutes just in the interest of time. I don't know who would like to speak first. Do we have public comment tonight?
Madam Chair, would you like them to introduce themselves first and
We could
then,
we could do
or how would
that.
you
I
like to do
mean, we could do that. Certainly, it's optional. They don't have to introduce themselves, but I would
it? Okay.
love to hear who's here. So, Rocco, do you want to call out phone numbers or how do you want to do that?
Sure. I can just go down the list as I see. So we start with a phone number that ends in 5000.
So my best guess is that's me. It's Janine Warden.
Welcome.
Okay.
We have phone number ending in 6381.
Okay, we don't hear you if you're speaking.
Okay. We have a phone number ending in 1316.
Edith Parker.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have welcome 5975.
Okay, I'm not hearing anyone. Go ahead.
Then we have Edith Gravely.
Yes, Edith Gravely, yes.
Good.
Welcome. And then we have Linda Matarese.
Welcome.
Welcome. And I think that is everybody.
Okay, well, let's go ahead then and take public comment. Anybody who has introduced themselves, or if you haven't, that's fine too, but we will hear from any of the public, please. Can you raise your hand or indicate if you want to speak? I'm not hearing anything. Does that
Hi,
mean-
this is Janine Warden.
Oh, Janine, yes, please go ahead.
So, I'd like to give an update on the experiences that I've had using STAR. I go to work using STAR 5 days a week, and while there have been some improvements, there still are significant issues with getting a timely ride. Sometimes the ride is quite late, like 45 minutes. Sometimes the ride is 15 minutes late. It's just very difficult to know what it's going to be on any particular day. And at this point, I don't feel it's reliable enough to really use it to get to, like if I were to have a meeting I had to attend, I don't feel it's reliable enough to ensure that I'd get to the meeting on time.
Janine, can you tell us about how many times a week would you say the rides are late at this point? Can you give us some idea?
It's typically 2 to 3.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And okay, and it is significant that you feel it's unreliable enough that you won't use it when you have an important meeting to get to. So I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear there's been some improvement, but this is still not acceptable.
Madam
Okay.
Chair,
Yes, Kent.
it's Kent. Can I ask a question, please?
Certainly.
Ms. Warden, do you use a wheelchair?
I do not.
Thank you.
Okay, who else would like to give public comment?
This is Edith Parker, and my concern is the kind of job I do is not a set schedule. I don't start at 8 o'clock and finish by 4 o'clock. It's a very different type of schedule. I can work for 1 hour, for 2, for 3. My situation is that if the client doesn't show and I call to say I'm ready to go, I have been told they cannot pick me up until my schedule is up. But that means sometimes I have to wait 2 hours, 3 hours for the transportation to pick me up. And that part has not been improved. Another situation I have had, or other situations I have had, is that when the driver is late, they tell me that they are late because the company that has the smaller cars, not the vans, but the cars, if they put my appointment with that company, the company calls at the very moment to pick me up and says, we're not going to pick her up, or we're not taking her, or something like that. Therefore, I call it Diamond. Diamond has to figure out how to find somebody to take me to work. And my work, like I say, is 1 hour or 2. So if I don't get there, I miss the job and I get paid by that hour. So it's my time wasted, and I have not seen the improvement in that part.
Okay, Edith, thank you for those comments. So it sounds like there's a couple of issues. In the past, before we had the We Drive You contract, there was flexibility, and I know the Star call center did whatever they could to pick someone up if they were ready substantially early. They made every effort to get a provider to that individual to take them home. And then it also sounds like USERV is exercising the option of canceling without any notification, and then there's apparently no way to get that individual home or to wherever they need to go once that ride is canceled. I mean,
Roseanne?
do they? Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I interrupted you. Finish your thought.
Well,
I was
no,
going
I
to add
just
on to that and ask a question.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, have you been stranded, or do they finally send somebody at some point when you serve?
They have sent somebody. The difficulty is that they, if let's say I have an appointment of 2 hours and the patient cancels. I mean, when I get there, when I am there, the patient has canceled, and I call Star and I let them know that I am ready to go, and they say no. Well, Star, like you say, Star does the best, But when they call Diamond says we cannot pick her up until her time is.
And they can't dispatch another USERV driver for the one who canceled? That's strange to me.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Right. Okay, well, that's a curiosity question on my part, because USERV is an on-demand service. Okay, Rebecca, you wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, so with the USERV, I've had a couple issues. One is that either they haven't, just slightly unrelated, but while we're on the topic of USERV, about half the rides I've taken with USERV, either they are not trained in how to enter the coupons into their app, or the app doesn't have the correct denomination of a coupon for them to indicate that they have the 450 or something. And they're like, well, it doesn't exist in the app. And then, we go round and round, and 30 minutes later, we're still sitting there because, so both of those situations have been true with USERV. So there's definitely some training issues or some app management issues. Secondly, I have also had issues with USERV canceling. And my understanding, according to Star, the wonderful ladies of the call center, is that USERV has up to 2 hours prior to a trip to hand it back to We Drive You. My first question is that accurate for the folks here on the line? And my second comment is, I've had a few trips, including one going to the airport, which is particularly problematic, last week, where we've had USERV just didn't show, and I don't think they even told We Drive You they weren't going to take the trip. That they were canceling or whatever, that they didn't have a driver. So, but I've run into that situation where they've either sent it back, but no one tells me. Like, We Drive You will say, well, they sent it back. I'm like, well, why are they late? Well, they sent it back. Well, when were you going to let me know that you were going to be 2 hours late because they sent the trip back? And then second of all, so there's definitely some challenges there, but I'm just curious, one, what is the window that USERV has before they are not in whatever contractual obligations they have? And then two, it would be nice if there would be some notification on the part of between We Drive You and the customer, or Star and the customer, to say, hey, they sent your trip back, and we're working on it or something so that we're not just left, swinging in the wind.
Right. So it's that old communication issue that we've brought up many, many times. But let's definitely get an update about USERV and what their contractual obligations are in terms of, letting We Drive You know, and then what is We Drive You's responsibility then to issue another ride. So these are important questions. Let me just make sure, are there other members of the public who would like to comment?
Yes, my name is Edith Gravely, and I am the parent of an adult user who goes into DC four times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The couple of times that I've been concerned with and would like to know what the process is. If my daughter is going to be late getting home more than half an hour, is there some way that I can be notified that she's arriving late? Had one instance, and I was told that it was the cherry blossoms that delayed her for 2 hours, and I'm panicky. Where is she? And she has her phone off. She is usually here before 3:30. It was almost 6 o'clock when she got home, and I hadn't heard anything. And then when I called Star, it was told to me, that's cherry blossoms. I'm familiar with that. But my question again, when Star or anyone knows that they're going to be more than a certain number of, half an hour or so late, 15 minutes, that someone is notified?
Right. And in your case, you would want to be notified if your daughter is unable to be communicated with or whatever. So there should be that accommodation for her, because normally they would, I mean, that's what I think anyway. That's a reasonable accommodation for you to be notified. So
we with this particular day, of course, it would be one of those days. So.
Right. Okay, thank you for those comments. Anyone else from the public that would like to? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I haven't. We've used Star for a number of years and have had some terrific drivers. For the most part, most of them are. Sometimes time isn't of essence. However, I've not heard of We Drive You. Can you tell me what We Drive You is?
Well, We Drive You used to be Diamond. So We Drive You is Diamond, and then they have a contract, a subcontract with USERV. So that's what that is. Okay.
So Drive You is still Diamond. Okay.
And
one last thing, when there's inclement weather, snow, which I know it's something that it's not on our minds right now. But I live on a dead end street, and turnaround is a challenge for something larger than a bus. But last year, when we had all the snow, the bus stopped almost up at Langston Boulevard and wanted my daughter to walk from our house all the way up to Langston Boulevard because she said she couldn't drive down and she was afraid of getting stuck or whatever. But again, I don't know how much drivers know in terms of whether a bus is gonna fit on a street or if just a regular vehicle, sedan, your van that you have. So if they would know of the driving conditions before they get here, because if they couldn't drive down, it was extremely difficult for her to walk that far to get.
I understand. I understand.
I think some communication, would be helpful.
Right, absolutely. Okay, any other members of the public who'd like to comment? I'm not hearing any. Let me say this. Let me give the committee members specific to the STAR service. Do any of the committee members have anything they want to share regarding STAR service? Because this might be an appropriate time to do so in terms of your own personal experience.
Madam Chairman, it's Kent.
Yes, Kent.
I had a trip a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't notified the STAR Center about this yet, but I'm going to. But it's a long-standing issue. In fact, I was relegated to Red Top because of this several years ago, but with a larger bus that We Serve You uses, the shoulder strap doesn't work. So it's usually around my elbow, which of course does not keep me from lurching forward. And, you know, despite the driver's best efforts, it just doesn't work the way they configured it. So that happened to me again. Certainly not safe. And, you know, I'll talk to the STAR Center about it. But, you know, that kind of thing, I would just wonder how many wheelchair users that happens to in the back of the buses. And I don't know if somebody from We Serve You would like to address that issue, but that's a, you know, blatant safety.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rocco, I'm hoping we can get some of these questions answered when we do the STAR update, okay? I hope you're taking some notes here so we can get some of these questions answered. And just for clarification, Ken, which type of vehicle is this a problem for? Which one is it?
So it's I think they have two sizes of buses, and you know, then they have the vans, but this was the medium-sized bus, or the smaller size bus, I should say.
Okay. Okay, the small bus. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Other committee members, do you have concerns with your STAR service that you've experienced in the past few months that you want to share? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. So I would hope we could address some of these questions during the STAR update. We have the providers here, so hopefully we can get some answers. Okay, the next item on the agenda, I believe, and Rocco, please clarify if I'm incorrect, is the approval of the March 11 minutes. Have committee members had a chance to read those minutes, and do you have comments or concerns about them?
This is Jim. I've read them and I have no comments.
Okay, no comments, no
No.
corrections. Rebecca, no corrections. Cynthia, Kent, did you all have a chance to look at them?
I've had a chance to look over the minutes and I don't see any corrections or edits.
Oh, okay. And Kent, how about you?
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're
Can we
breaking up a
motion
bit.
to
Could you
approve?
say?
Can
I just
we
want to hear.
motion to
I just want to
approve?
hear.
I'm sorry.
I just want to hear Kent for a minute. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm okay. Yes.
You're okay, and so am I. So yes, let's have a motion to approve the minutes.
Hey, can I just one more thing?
So
They weren't just. Sorry, Rosa. I just want to say that the notes, the minutes were not just adequate; they were great. I thought they were very.
And you know, I have to be honest, that was my feeling. The improvement in the quality of the minutes is significant, and I really appreciate that. So, okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
So moved.
Second?
A second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So, Rocco, I guess you are free to post these minutes. And I do want to say, I appreciate that you put the link to the recording in the minutes. I appreciate that very much. So,
Sure, yeah, we'll make sure that continues going forward.
Yeah,
So you can
no,
just
that's
access the recording.
That's great. Okay, now I'm hoping I'm looking at the most current agenda. The next item on the agenda was the update on STAR services, and there were various subtopics underneath here. Is that correct? Am I correct about this?
Yeah. Yes. So there's a couple different items that we have here. Um, the first one being Spare, the Spare app. We have Carl Nicholson here. I'm going to be uh, doing a small presentation and talking about it. He'll also be here in the event that there are specific questions that are needed.
And
But I'm
just,
gonna,
can you remind us where this app is in terms of its development?
yeah,
Where
sure.
are
And
we
what it
with
is?
this?
Yeah. So I will definitely touch on all of that.
Okay.
So let me just put up on the screen, and I will also narrate what is on the screen when it's up. So basically, uh, we have been taking a lot of feedback from the Arlington riders, Arlington Star riders, and we have been hearing a lot of different things. Some of the biggest things being more clear communication regarding your trip status and the location of the vehicles or what's going on when you're waiting for your trip, as well as the ability to book trips at all hours of the day, or the ability for different payment options with Star. And so, what we have been working on is developing this app, Spare. It's called officially Spare, the name of the developer of this app. The app will be called Arlington Star um, when you download it, and it will basically sort of act as a Uber or Lyft style app for Arlington Star, where you log in, you can see your trip reservations, you can make reservations, you will have expanded payment options, you'll be able to check the status of your trip, you'll be updated on different aspects of the trip as it happens. Um, and on the screen right now, I have a couple of demo uh, screenshots of what this app looks like currently. There's a map of the service area of Arlington County, Washington, Maryland, and Virginia. It looks very akin to the Uber app, where you have a start destination and you select an end destination, and it gets put into the app, and it gives you a zone pricing. You can set different parameters, such as if you need ambulatory or a non-ambulatory trip, PCA riders, how you'll be paying. Um, I'm going to go to the next slide as well. There are more screenshots which will show you more of the accessibility requirements, such as, again, wheelchair, if you need door-to-door assistance, if you have a walker. These are things you'll be able to select in the app. Um, and after the completion of your trip, you'll be able to rate the trip and the specific driver for feedback. Uh, you'll be able to uh, see the status of the trip as you get closer. So let me go to the third slide. Um, we have a number of different events that will trigger uh, different notifications on your phone. You can receive these notifications uh, as a text message, as a phone call. You can receive these notifications through the app itself. Um, these different notifications will allow for things such as if when your ride has been accepted, if your ride has been canceled, if you cancel the ride, if you have a scheduled pickup within the hour, if the driver is late. There's a number of different conditions in which you'll be notified through the app. Um, we have an example screenshot here of a rider getting texted that their drop off at their specific location has been booked, and these notifications will continue throughout uh, the duration of your trip and as the trip comes up, and you'll be able to hopefully get more clear communication in regards to if a trip is late, uh, how late it's expected to be, um, if the trip has been accepted, what the trip type coming up is going to look like, and uh, when the vehicles are actually arriving at your location. Um, So this app has we are in the very late stages of developing this app, and we are expecting a full rollout on June 2nd. I see that Roseanne is no longer here. I don't know if I should wait for her or.
And Rocco, I don't know if you realize you're not sharing anymore.
Yes, that it was those 3 slides.
Okay.
But Roseanne is no longer here, so I'm not sure if I should wait for her to return.
Maybe give her a moment. I'll text her.
Okay.
So while we're waiting for Chair Ashby to return, members of the committee, do you have any questions? I know this has been something that the STAR program in the county has been talking about for a while, and we brought to you all last meeting in March about that we had reached down and got to 2 finalists. And so SPARE was the application that we decided to move forward with. So questions for member of the committee just about functionality, usefulness, any other questions. We actually have our software developer, our project lead from Spare actually here at the meeting as well. If you have any kind of specific questions on how you will interact with the app once we roll it out. Mr. Mountain, go ahead, sir.
So fantastic. Love the app. Be a great improvement. I didn't see, is there a way to do electronic payments, credit card payments through the app?
Yeah, so we are anticipating being able to pay with debit and credit card. It may come shortly after the app's launch, just due to bureaucratic having to get things settled legally and financially. But yes, that is totally an option we're anticipating having.
And the timeline, were you waiting for Roseanne to do that?
The timeline of the app rollout?
Yes.
We are planning a launch on June 2nd.
Committee members, any other questions? Comments, thoughts?
What accessibility standards does it meet?
Mr. Pisa, could you repeat that question? I was unable to hear you clearly.
Accessibility standards. Like as far as vision, maybe?
Accessibility features on the app. Yes, we have Carl Nicholson, our partner at the Spare development here. If you wanted to talk a little bit about the accessibility features.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rocco, and thanks for the overview as well. I can kind of give you like our general, thesis on accessibility, and then if any specific questions come up now or once we get launched, feel free to pass them on to Rocco and Clinton. They'll come to my way, and that can go to my development team. But in general, our accessibility kind of idea is we basically test throughout the entire software development lifecycle. Automated testing using ACTS by DEC systems for automated WCAG 2.2 compliance scans. We also do a lot of manual testing with certified accessibility specialists who do hands-on testing using screen readers. So JAWS and NVDA on Windows, VoiceOver on Mac OS, and TalkBack on Android. We also have keyboard-only navigation testing to ensure that like all functionality is accessible without a mouse. So one thing that I don't believe we've mentioned yet is not only are we rolling out the Writer app, but we're rolling out essentially a way to book a ride through a web browser. It's basically the same Writer app that Rocco just showed, but accessed via the internet. So you don't have to necessarily have a smartphone. And then color contrast analyzers. So all kind of keeping to that WCAG 2.2 compliance.
Okay, thank you. And Roseanne had a power surge, so she's going to try and dial in. That may be her.
Can I get in a couple more questions while we're waiting?
So this is Cynthia. I have a comment and question. The app looks like it would be a game changer for Star riders in terms of ease of access to making and canceling trips and things of that nature. I'm wondering, there was a public comment earlier that expressed concerns about switching from We Drive You to Userve and trips being, sent and then pushed back. With this app, lend any clarification to that process and allow for better communication on that?
Yeah, I can take that one. Absolutely. Obviously, there's nothing I think to stop a user driver from like canceling the ride like half an hour before. We hope they don't do that, but beyond that, Spare is very tightly integrated with Userve, and that includes not just the dispatch side, but the notification side. So once you get booked to Userve, you'll get notified. If they cancel, you'll get notified, and that notification will actually go back to the We Drive You dispatch team, who can then make sure that your ride does fit somewhere. Likewise, we have it integrated with the app, so you can actually see the user and We Drive You driver as they're approaching you on like the map in the Rider app.
This is Roseanne Ashby, and I don't want to interrupt the flow of conversation. I had a little computer glitch of power surge, and I had to get back on by phone. Has anyone asked the question about who has tested this app? Because my concern is, as a blind person, is it accessible? Who has tested it? Where are we in terms of the development? I missed that, and if you've already covered it, I apologize.
They did cover like the type of testing that they do for WCAG and things like that, Roseanne, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, and so were there blind users that were asked to test the app?
Yeah, there have been, and yeah, basically, I've not actually personally tried it, but it's compliant with like your common screen readers.
Mm-hmm. But well, there would be like voiceover on the iPhone,
Exactly.
and TalkBack,
Yeah.
Android.
Yeah.
I make sure that is this something unique to Arlington, or is it a more generic app that other transit systems use? That's my question.
Yeah, so the version we're going to be rolling out for Arlington is custom branded toward Arlington Star. And so it'll be it'll be branded with the branding, and it'll be just people within Arlington using it. But speaking more broadly, Spare has partnerships with a couple hundred transit agencies who are using the Rider app, and of course they have visually impaired riders amongst them as well.
Okay, thank you. You've answered my immediate question.
This is Judy Dixon.
And
I have a question also.
Yes, Judy.
What platforms will this app be on?
Android, iOS, and an internet browser.
Okay, thank you.
I also see Rebecca Bridges. Yes, you have your hand raised.
Yep, I just had a quick question. Is this, I believe you mentioned that riders can schedule trips using the app, and is that correct? I guess that's the first part of my question.
Yes, that's correct.
The second part of my question is similar to the way it's been with Star and other transit, like Metro Access, for example. I assume that we can only schedule trips within certain timeframes, correct? Like by a certain time of day and that kind of thing for the next day?
Yeah, yes, there will still
How does
be
that work?
a cutoff period before which you can't schedule a ride within a certain amount of hours before the actual trip takes place. But there won't be any limit through the app on scheduling a trip in the future. If you wanted to schedule one after hours of the Star Call Center or of We Drive You, you can make a trip scheduled 24 hours a day. But yeah, there is it's
Right.
still.
But you just couldn't do it for like the next day if it's 8:00 p.m. Right. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
What is the time frame for rolling out the app?
Yes, we're expecting a launch of the app on June 2nd.
Okay. I am curious if any of the committee members could have an advanced look at it.
Let me get back to you. That said, we just launched, Spare just launched with your neighbor to the south, Alexandria, on May 1st. And that app is on the iOS or the App Store and the Google Play Store. So if you want to go ahead and download that, you can poke around there.
Okay, that's good to know. So they're using it for their paratransit service then. That's good to know.
Exactly. Yep.
Mr. Mountain, I'm sorry. James Mountain still has his hand raised. I don't know if you have another question or.
I do. Today, there's certain places I go, like my work, where I can't put the address in the website because it says it's out of the serviceable zone, I guess. But when I call Star, they say, "Oh, that's just a mistake with the, with the website. We can book that for you." Is that problem going to be solved with Spare?
Yes, definitely. We are updating the mapping of our zone system for this app. So, and if you do encounter an error, this new app makes it very easy for us to go in and edit the zones or mapping as we need to. So, yes.
Great. And my last question, as far as seeing where the driver is and how far away they are, is that using real-time GPS, whether like on the driver's phone or something, or is that just more of an estimate?
No, you're exactly right. That's using real-time GPS of the driver's tablet.
Thank you.
So just like Uber or Lyft.
Hi, this is Susan Sebastian. I'd like to know, can you, when it's ready to roll out, can you send us a link, the users?
Yes.
Can you send the users a link so that we know that we are downloading the correct app?
Yes, definitely. We're going to do a public notification to all registered Star users. We're going to make sure that that the riders are informed. We're going to work with We Drive You also to make sure that the drivers inform riders and that the drivers are able to accurately inform riders on any questions they have on the app, as well as the Star Call Center. So yes, we're planning to do a public communication rollout once it is available for download.
And my next question is, will the call center still operate?
Yes, call center will still operate. You can still call the call center and book a trip in the exact same way as you have been doing. If you do not want to use the app, or if you would prefer to talk to an actual person.
Okay.
I want to have a follow-up question on that because many of us are very excited about this opportunity, but there are certain folks with disabilities, particularly elderly people, who may choose to still need to call in for their transportation. Will there still be better communication for these people in terms of notifying them when the rides are going to be late? Or, because we don't want to sacrifice communication for that segment of the user group.
Yes, definitely. Yes, we're definitely going to still make sure we're notifying people, regardless of how they book their trips. Additionally, if you have the app on your phone and you book a trip with the Star Call Center, you can still receive notifications through text, through the app, or through a phone call of the status of your trip. If you book the trip by calling the Star Call Center, they will book it into the app as well, and you can be notified on updates regarding your trip, even if you don't use it to actually book the trip yourself. Um, so yeah, so we're definitely going to make sure that uh, we're notifying passengers regardless of how they book their trips that it will be available, or that they'll have the availability to uh, hear from someone, even if they don't have the ability to use the app.
Okay, that's good. That's important, to have that duplication and that, I think we need to serve everybody's needs. I guess that's my point.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Are there more questions about the app? I think it's an exciting opportunity. I think the details, and I'm anxious certainly to take a look at it.
Madam Chairman, can I ask,
yes.
Was the company VIA involved in the formation of this platform?
I'm sorry.
VIA, the company VIA.
VIA was not informed. Spare is a sub to We Drive You, and they came as a part of the selection of We Drive You as the contractor for Spare, as for Star.
Okay. Other questions about the app?
Roseanne, just a quick time check. It's 10 minutes to 6.
Yeah, and I realize we're late, but we may have to run over a little bit. So can we move on to the next item, which I think is it a user update?
Sure thing.
Is that correct?
And yes, I believe the agenda is still showing. Yes. Okay. Yep. Second thing on here is Userve. So, Clinton, I don't know if you wanted me to give this update or.
Yeah, so with Userve, I'll just give a quick update in the essence of time. We are upwards over, and actually you could correct me wrong, we have gone through the necessary processes and we have over 50 drivers that have gone through the background checks to be able to provide service through Userve. One thing we have done with Userve is that since mid-April, we have changed our scheduling practices that we are sending X number of trips, a certain number of trips to Userve up front, and then letting the overflow go to Diamond, anything that is left over. This is a change in what we have done previously. And so we were giving this a shot to see how well that would work. So Userve is getting scheduled up front, and then we are getting the rest of the trips over to Diamond. And so anytime, I know we made a comment that Userve may actually may cancel a trip at the 2-hour mark. Because of the way we are now scheduling, We Drive You is equipped to handle that since the Userve trips are going out first.
Okay, but
and when was that change made, Clinton?
Let's see, that was after, I want to say we had a good meeting with the call center and We Drive You probably 2 weeks after the last accessibility subcommittee meeting. So first part of March that we decided to try
that
give this
hasn't
model.
played. Yeah, that hasn't played out. That has not played out the way you expected in my
well,
experience.
there's nothing that was just letting you know that's not nothing that you all would see on your end, but we're trying that scheduling model as the vice versa. So we have more.
I think the question is, though, when trips are turned back by Userve drivers, can people expect a quick turnaround from We Drive You to be picked up in a timely way? I mean, that's what I've heard several times tonight.
Yes. So with Userve, they have to provide the We Drive You 2-hour notification, and in that 2-hour notification, the pickup for the passenger is still expected to be at the same time, even when Userve sends a trip back.
Right. Right. I think the point
Okay.
is, though, that's not how it's actually happening. Like based on the comments, it's not that playing out. Like they'll be like, "Oh, we're still scrambling. We'll be there in an hour." So that hasn't been the case. Either they send it back and we drive you can't accommodate and no one tells or they just don't pick up the trip, period, and don't tell we drive you, which is also a problem.
Yeah, I mean, this is a problem. So it needs to be investigated. Because
Yes.
we've heard it from several people here now.
Sorry,
Mr.
when are they canceling? Like how far before the
Well,
ride?
sometimes sometimes they're canceling 2 hours prior, which they're allowed to do, but even then we drive you can't always accommodate. And then they're just canceling, or they're just not showing up when they're supposed to, period.
Mr. Drucker, I believe you have something to interject here.
Yeah, hey everyone. I'm the transit technology manager for Art and Star. I've worked at a couple different transit agencies, and from what I've seen and from all the colleagues that I've talked to that have implemented Spare, it should allow all of the management to have much better oversight of of Star moving forward with Spare, from the call center to the operator, uh, both operators you serve, um, yeah, everyone driving. And then additionally, it will give a lot of oversight previously that we have not had at the county level. So I can't speak to the contracts or anything like that. That's not my place. Um, but what I'm personally super excited to see with this new update is the oversight that we will now get to have. These complaints you guys are talking about, yes, they are looked into and they are taken very seriously. If you call the call center, I've talked to them many times. They investigate everything. But with this new technology, there will just be so much more oversight for in the moment oversight that the contractors, the drivers can use and the dispatchers can use. And then after the fact, monthly and even down to the detail by the county. So I think this Spare implementation will be, one, super helpful and beneficial, and then two, it'll add a lot of visibility into what is going on that you guys are seeing day to day.
And I hear you.
Well, maybe
and
the next meeting will be better.
Yeah, Miss Bridges
yeah.
and Chair Ashby, let us have a conversation with We Drive You and You Serve, because what you all are explaining and what our understanding is, after we actually met the Monday after our last accessibility subcommittee meeting to get a good handle on You Serve. Let us seek some clarification on that to make sure that we are clear across the board that the customer experience is the same as what the expectation is.
Yes, I appreciate that, and I would hope you would do that, because even though this is rolled out on June the 2nd, it's going to be a while before it's widely adopted, I would think, by the users of
Absolutely.
Star,
Absolutely.
So in the meantime, we can't have these late trips and all this. I mean, it's really unacceptable, and especially when we're talking about people's livelihoods and medical appointments. It's really unacceptable. So I mean, can you get back to us before? We don't meet in July. This.
Oh yeah, no, we'll huddle with them. We have a meeting with them later this week, so we'll get some clarification on that, just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, Clinton and Rocco, I mean, that is a concern that I have, because in July, typically we have the, what do you call it? The transit facility tour, which we want to participate in, obviously, of some of us. But we also have STAR business to conduct, and the issue is with the program in transition the way it is, we can't wait till September to talk about these things. So it may be that I will want to call a special meeting of our committee. So I bring this up because it's a concern. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be cognizant of time. What is the next item on the agenda?
Yes, the next item on the agenda is customer service. I did want to talk a little bit, and again, for the purposes of time, I will be brief. We are continually trying to update customer service with STAR. Again, with the rollout of Spare, one of the big things is going to be able to is the ability for riders to give feedback on the trip as it is completed. They can leave a review in a similar manner to you leave a review when you complete an Uber or a Lyft, and leave a rating, leave a comment. So that will be hopefully a big update in terms of not having to remember the specific trip time. If you have a trip experience you need feel the need to share with oversight or management or even a commendation, regardless of what it is, the use of Spare will make it much more instantaneous for you to be able to do so. Additionally, we have ensured that the call center's phone redirects to WeDriveU's number, and if in the event that the call center is not open, and we have been ensuring that what WeDriveU is responsive to those phone calls, because that was something we heard in the last meeting. So those are the updates on customer service that I had to share.
Okay, very good. What about reasonable accommodations? Now, tonight we heard several issues related.
Roseanne, before you move off
that,
yes. Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Yes, of course.
So in the lines of customer service, I sent a written letter to STAR before I was a member of this board 6 months ago, and with some suggestions. Never heard back on that. I think you've addressed a lot of what I had in that letter. But my point is, when you get a letter like that, what is the expectation you have for yourselves, I guess, to respond to the public when they send a communication like that? And again, I wrote that 6 months ago. I never heard anything back from anyone.
Mr. Mountain, we addressed, Rocco actually replied to your message last Tuesday. And during the course of that communication, he explained that over the few months, we've had several discussions addressing those issues that you had. So we thought we had reasonably addressed those concerns that you had, but we formally replied on last week.
So is that the expectation, that 6 months later you respond? Because if it is, that's not right, and that needs to change.
Mr. Mount, we've been responsive to you. I know that Rocco has had several conversations with you about those different things. Just not a formal reply to that. So yes, we did not reply formally. However, conversations throughout over the past few months.
So just ignoring my particular situation, what is your expectation for what STAR should, how you respond to questions like that?
Absolutely. We have many means. We respond through the customer complaints form, the customer comment forms. We respond through telephone calls. We respond through electronic means. So we have multiple ways in which we respond to our clients.
But what is your expectation for your team, I guess, Clinton?
The expectation is that we are responsive.
For instance, when you get a letter from the public asking questions about STAR, what is the expected turnaround time?
The expected turnaround time, if we get a letter, are you looking? I feel like we have been very responsive to you, Mr. Mountain, in multiple
I'm not talking about
meetings.
myself, Clinton. I'm talking about just in general. What is the expectation for people that work at Star to respond to a written email? The email or letter. In my
when
case, it
we
was a letter, but yeah.
when we get communication that comes directly into the call center for a customer comment, the call center has, let's say, we just adjust the standard. They have X number, they have 7 days to respond. Then it is turned over to We Drive You. They have 7 days. And if the comment is not fully flushed out, then we will then review it and then have a session with the call center and We Drive You to provide some level of a actual response to them. So we have a set standard for calls that go directly in. And now anything that comes directly to the county, we send over to the call center, or We Drive You to be directly entered into the customer comment center so that we can track it and that we can respond accordingly to that standard.
So Clinton, then within 2 to 3 weeks, somebody should reasonably expect some kind of response to a written
Yes,
request.
and I know many of you may be are familiar with Mary Blyther. She is the primary point of contact for the comment system through the call center, and she initiates any contact with the passenger. And if there's follow-up needed, she then sends it over to Louise over at We Drive You. We Drive You then enters their comments, and if it's unresolved, then Rocco, Mary, and Louise will get together to go through that comment and then follow up. But the customer is communicated with along the line.
Okay, all right. I think that's what we need to understand.
Ms.
Okay.
It's
Yes,
Ken.
Ken.
So, you answered Jim because he brought it back up, but is there a backlog of comments and complaints that have been responded to?
We have it on the wall. And so after that 14-day period that I explained, then we have that meeting so we can get them resolved. So there is no existing backlog currently.
Everything's current?
In my understanding from discussion with Rocco yesterday, yes, everything is current.
Okay, I want to move on to the reasonable accommodations issues that I heard tonight. Kent's issue with the restraint for the shoulder, and also the lady who spoke about her daughter who wants to be informed when her ride is going to be late. What is your position for these kinds of concerns? Because I think they're both reasonable. One is a safety issue, and we talked about those last time.
So when we last met on May 17th, I'm sorry, on March the 11th, this committee brought some questions about unsafe operations and then following up on safety related training. We Drive You at their April 17th safety meeting. They essentially went over with all of the operators their safety, their responsiveness to being on the STAR contract. And also what they brought up was just overall safe operations. The things that they covered at that meeting on April 17th was the STAR requirements outlined for operations, customer service, professionalism, and de-escalation. And then they talked about safe operations. They talked about seatbelt securements, seatbelt extenders placed away in between the trips, and making sure they do a thorough pre-trip inspection. And so in Mr. Keyser's instance, I can't speak to that specifically just because, but the seatbelt extender should be able to allow you to be properly secured when you're taking a trip on STAR. The second one with the lady whom the operator wasn't safe filling up going up a snowy plane, that is in those inclement weathers, that was probably the safest thing that the operator could do. I don't know the exact day in question, but with that being at the end of a dead end street, the operator probably did not feel safe trying to get the vehicle up there.
Okay. Well,
If
I mean, you know,
And
these
so,
issues,
one
yeah.
thing we're going to have to do is that with reasonable accommodation, the Federal Transit Administration has a standard for what a reasonable accommodation is and is not. Just to give you an example of what a reasonable accommodation is not, if I would like to ride in a 2025 Tesla S, that's not a reasonable accommodation. So we'll probably at another meeting kind of go over what a reasonable accommodation is and what it is not, because it's really well defined by the
yeah,
Federal Transit Administration.
I hear what you're saying, Clinton, but let me say this. Let me just finish this really quick. I really feel that Kent has raised this issue. It is a concern and it needs to be addressed. And whether that means that he is not riding in a particular kind of vehicle, that needs to be honored. And that's my concern. Like when people bring these things up, they need to be addressed. And I don't think that's unreasonable at all.
Yes, well, all reasonable accommodations require a notification from a health professional. And so, but now what we can do in Mr. Keyser's instance is that we could set up a time, just trying to figure out on the line with him to try to figure out a configuration that would work for him on board a vehicle. If, of course, we'd have to schedule that with him to try to figure out.
So I have a similar, this is Rebecca. I'm sorry, I couldn't raise my hand because it told me there was an error or something. In terms of requesting, so, and I don't want to make this about me, so we can talk about this offline, but my question is this. If we have an issue or a concern and we want to request a reasonable accommodation or some sort of something, who do we reach out to? So for example, my younger child cannot ride in a bus. He cannot ride in a vehicle with only a lap belt because it is illegal for him not to be in a car seat. Okay. So, and this is an ongoing issue that I have. The guidelines for my car seat say it is not to be installed with only a lap belt. My question is, I can't get you a health professional, but who do I reach out to go over that and make sure that that's on file? And maybe just for the benefit of everyone on the phone, like or on the call, who do we engage on these types of things? I don't want to have a flurry of those, but you know, what is the process?
Let me do this. Could you, I don't know your availability tomorrow, but these would be your instance and Mr. Keyser's would be ones that we need to take care of individually. So can the call center, can we have the call center reach out to you tomorrow to get a full understanding of what the need is?
Yep. Anytime after 1 p.m. I'm flying in the morning, but yep.
Okay.
I'm good.
Thank
you. And I'm sorry.
Ken, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Roseanne. Here's the need, Ms. Edwards. We need vehicles that are safe. Period.
Absolutely. 100%. I do not disagree with you at all.
And safety is different for accommodating people with different disabilities. I think that's really the issue. And that's where, when I call it reasonable accommodation, that's what I mean. You know, we need to accommodate the disability. So, okay, I don't want to prolong this, but I appreciate your following up with Rebecca and with Kent. But I think let's make sure that, you know, these issues, you know, are addressed timely, not just in their situations, but in other people's situations as well. I need a time check, and I need to see what else is on the agenda, please.
Roseanne, can I quickly ask a follow-up question to Rebecca's concern? And the question is, with the Spare app, can the vehicle type that, for instance, that she needs to make sure there's adequate belting for the car seat, can that be put in the request when you make that online reservation?
Yeah, that is something we're planning on having a feature on the app for, in terms of if you have an approved request, in terms of you say, I can't use a bus be it for this reason, you submit it to the county approves it, and it goes through that process. On the Spare app in your rider profile, we will be able to select which vehicle types you are going to use. So when the actual scheduling of the trip occurs, if you do not have the bus vehicle type selected on your profile, it will not assign you to a driver with a bus.
Okay, that's good.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, all right, time check.
Yes, it
What-
is 6:14 p.m. We have
and
the
what-
only thing left on the agenda is the metrics overview for February and March.
Can you give us a quick overview, Rocco?
Yes, I will right now. So I do acknowledge that in your message you asked if we would be able to get April as well. Due to how I produced the metrics for Art and Star, the April metrics for all transportation, Art and Star is not publicly available till the end of the following month, so until May 31st. I will inform you guys when it is available, but I only have February and March, unfortunately, to show. For February and March, we did have a slight improvement in on-time percentage, 89% in February and 87% in March. It is still obviously not meeting our our expectation of at least 90%. It is getting close, but obviously it is not fully there yet. We had an average ridership of 127 in February and 139 in March every weekday. The trips canceled did drop. Trips canceled by provider did drop significantly, about half from in March to 7%, as well as the trips canceled by customers dropped down to 8%, which is the lowest percentage of this current fiscal year from last July. Let's see. The number of calls received and answered was 2,429 and 2,755 for February and March. And we completed 2,830 trips in February and 3,192 trips in March. This data is available on the Arlington Transit website. I believe I provided the link in the meeting notes of the last meeting. I can provide that link again if it is needed. And I will give you guys an update when the data for April is publicly available. And you can take a look at it on our Arlington Transit website.
Does anyone have any quick questions for Rocco on his presentation of the data?
Rocco, it's Kent. The trips that were in the 80s, what were those there? What's your descriptor of those?
I'm sorry. Can you just repeat the very last part of your?
Yeah, those are completed trips or not completed trips or on-time trips?
The 89%, 87%?
Correct.
Those are completed trips. The amount, that was the on-time percentage of all completed trips.
Okay, so those trips were on time.
Yes.
Okay, so if 3,000 trips, that means 300 trips weren't on time?
Yes, February? It was the late pickup window. 294 trips were between 10 and 30 minutes, 10%.
Okay. Huge. All right. Well, okay, we still have a ways to go, obviously. So, one of the things I did want to ask, and we don't have time for a full discussion now, but I know the bus routes, the numbers are changing for the metro
Yes.
buses, and some of the, I understand some of the bus stops may be eliminated.
Yes.
How will that information be communicated to the disability community here in Arlington? Does it affect ART? Are the numbering and the schedule changes, will ART be affected? I mean, many of us do take the bus, so I'm curious about this.
There are no changes to Arlington Transit routes or stops as a result of the Better Bus Network changes. Those changes are only happening at the WMATA level, Metro Bus level. I think Clinton can speak more on it if you need.
Yes, and Mr. Ashby, I know you'll be a part of the meeting tonight. The meeting at 7, the Transit Advisory Committee, they're actually going to have a presentation on the Better Bus Network update. Once we get a copy of that presentation, we can circulate it with this subcommittee as well so that you all can have that same information. But that's on the
Yeah, I
agenda
think
for tonight.
that'd be a good idea. Okay. And does anyone else have any pressing business? I realize I kept you long, but if anyone has anything pressing right now.
I just
Not
have a
hearing-
question. This
Oh,
is
go ahead.
Edith Gray. A question about the lateness. Is it 10 minutes late or 15 minutes late? What is that time period before pickup, or they don't arrive within a certain period of time?
For our definition of late, you're asking?
Yes.
We consider anything past 10 minutes of the pickup window late, and then anything past 30 minutes excessively late.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's consistent with our policy, so that's fine.
And we can report that to the STAR office or whomever. How do you determine when they're late? How do you know they're late if the customers don't call?
We have manifests of pickup drop-off time with the dispatch. And using the new Spare app as well, we'll have GPS confirmation.
Okay, so what I would like to say before we leave, as I indicated earlier, I would like to pull our committee together during the early part of the summer. I feel like there's so much going on right now. We can't afford to wait till September to meet. But I also wanted to invite a member of this committee, particularly somebody who's a wheelchair user, to go with me on this transit tour that the larger Transit Advisory Committee does, because I do want you to see, the accessibility of the various facilities that we will be looking at. So I invite folks to let me know, please, if you're interested in doing that. I would welcome that. Okay. Anything else for the good of the group? Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all very much for your participation. Thanks to the members of the public as well as the committee and the county staff. This has been a very good meeting. A lot of thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.